If you can give to other people and get out of yourself, I'm willing to bet that a high percentage of you will start to find a much greater significance to this world. I truly believe it starts with peer pressure, but I want to go to the other side. The other side, the positive side, needs energy. The positive side needs to be discussed. The positive side needs to start winning. If I gave all of you a written test, if I put a piece of paper in front of you and asked you to decide and check off good, bad, okay, make decisions on a test, you guys would all get it right. You'd have no problems on that written test, okay, making decisions. But obviously something transpires, something changes when the written test goes away and you guys start hanging out together and start interacting and socializing, and other people can see you. Because that's when things start to go haywire. And people start to put on masks, and they start to try to project images. If we really cut down to it, almost all of you have some of the same feelings and concerns. Are you good enough? Are you going to make it? And it causes a lot of pain way down inside of you. People of all ages, okay, I want to make this real clear. People of all ages, in order to fight off that pain, in order to deal with that pain, instead of looking in the mirror and having honest self-evaluation, a lot of times what they do is start to look at other things, evaluate things, judge people, and try to find faults in other people. Here's you, and here's the other people. If I can find things that are wrong with them, okay, I have, in my mind, conceptually elevated myself to a position of, oh, I must be okay. Look how junky they are. You know, look how bad. And that's how this little thing gets started, as a defense mechanism to ward off and cope in that pain, in those doubts. The power of words is potentially huge. And I'd be willing to bet almost all of you know people who revert, okay, to drugs and alcohol and those things to try to sidestep, get away from reality. Because when you cut through a lot of it's pain. Let's say there's 3 kids in the hallway and one of the 3 is really got a very thick mask on today, and they're acting all this and they're acting all that, you know, to try to show the other 2 that, you know, they got it together. And some kid walks by who, on the written test, they would probably write down that they admire and respect. But because this isn't the written test, the kid's walking by and his 2 buddies are there, they say something rude and crude like, man, they think they're all this, they ain't nothing, man. And that's kind of the behavior at times. What I think should happen is, in that little scenario, when this kid and this person is deciding to react and behave and bully or say something negative to somebody, the other 2 kids need to learn, and the other 2 kids need to find the energy and the motivation and the understanding to say, no. We need to be uplifting that person walking down the hallway, not cutting them down. Everybody has a bucket, and there is a something in it. And basically the stuff in it is your self-esteem. Okay? Now, there's other people that have dippers, and they can get their dippers into your bucket when you made out a mistake, when you've made a mistake. Like, you know, you trip going out the door or something, and people are like, oh, you know, you got 2 left feet, or, you know, something dorky, whatever. Okay? They're making fun of you because you made a mistake. So when that happens, your stuff, your self-esteem stuff goes down. Okay? But we all have buckets. If I really want to elevate my bucket, okay, if I want my bucket to go up, what I have to do is get your bucket to go up first. Every day I get in the car and I go home, one of 2 things have hopefully happened, because I definitely know this happens. Days I get in the car, I turn the ignition, and I look in the mirror and I went, I helped a kid today. I helped a kid become a better person. That makes me full, okay? I'm a better person because I helped a kid. Now, if I get in the car and I was like rotten and rude to a kid and really hurt the kid and his self-esteem's down here, I know I did that. So that's how I feel. If you go out on a Friday night, okay, and you get to one of these social gatherings and there's go-go juice flowing around in the little red cups and all that, okay? Let's face facts, okay? There are definite people who, remember I talked about that pain and, you know, that they're trying to cope. They're just trying to keep their head above water. There's no doubt that an awful lot of this stuff right here is, remember I said, we talk about reactions. How are you going to react? Well, some people will react by medicating, okay, by depressing, by escaping, by just taking a psychological, physiological trip to outer space. How many of you know of somebody who has, under the influence of drugs and alcohol, become pregnant? Any of you? Raise your hands. How many of you know of somebody under the influence of drugs and alcohol, they have died? Okay, I just went right to the big questions. I went right to the heavies. How many of you have seen somebody in the last 6 months at some social gathering who you looked at, they were not partaking in some of those go-go juice activities because their self-esteem, their confidence was so high, it was legit, and their attitude was, I'm good. How many of you in the last 6 months have seen somebody like that? Put your hands up. That's huge. That's where we need to try to get. I truly believe it starts with peer pressure, but I want to go to the other side. The other side, the positive side, needs energy. The positive side needs to be discussed. The positive side needs to start winning. If for 1 week, when you interact with people, every time you interact with people, if you take the approach, what can I do for you? How can I help you? 1 week is my challenge. If you can give to other people and get out of yourself, I'm willing to bet that a high percentage of you will start to find a much greater significance to this world and what the meaning of all this is and why you go on and why you push and why you would study, okay? It's about giving to other people. It's about uplifting other people. Again, I'm not the brightest guy in the world, but it seems like this is 2 + 2 = 4 here. There's like serious things that need to be discussed and promoted and put on the table because there's seriously that much at stake.